Namaste. Welcome to Organizer Weekly. This is Shubhi Vishwakarma from Jerusalem. I'm sitting in Jerusalem currently. And with me is Amit, who heads a unit called Facts. They look after the misinformation and all the propaganda machinery active on social media against Israel. We will speak to him in this video and understand how they do it and how we in India can do it as well. So, welcome to Organizer, Amit.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. First of all, tell us about Facts and how you operate in there.
Okay, FACTS is actually an acronym: Future of Advocacy, Community, Technology, Scalability. It's an Israeli organization that was established right after October 7th, 2023, in an effort to mass distribute facts, truth, and fight disinformation and misinformation that is controlling social media. We do it with the real people. We have over 15,000 digital ambassadors that get daily missions over multiple WhatsApp groups, and they distribute to social network groups that we screened beyond the Israeli and Jewish echo chamber. And that's a very important point because most people speak on social media to their own bubble of friends, colleagues, relatives, family, and they don't really change any narrative because they preach to the choir, so to speak. We understood that in order to make a real difference online, we have to speak beyond the echo chamber, to break through that into groups where there is relevant discourse, relevant conversation about what's going on. The war in Gaza, the war with Iran, the war in southern Lebanon with Hezbollah, with the Houthis in Yemen, and explain to them what is really going on beyond all the smokes of misinformation. And mainly the point is, on October 6th, everything was peaceful and quiet. On October 7th, hell came down on Israeli communities across from the Gaza border. Communities were broken into, kids were attacked, women were raped, babies were, I don't want to even mention what was done to them. People were beheaded, very graphic scenes. I don't want to get too deep into that. We were attacked, but right after, this vicious machine of propaganda online started, and it was so coordinated and funded by billions of dollars by state organizers that were waiting for that right moment to disperse false information about what was happening. The victim became the aggressor became the victim, and the whole world turned upside down with misinformation and lies. That's when Facts got founded, and that's when we decided we have to spread the truth, because the truth is out there, but so few people get to know and understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, that so many things were circulated in social media, and the perpetrators became the victims. And the similar thing, what happened on October 7, India has faced a similar attack in Pahalgam, where innocent civilians were massacred by Islamist forces.
Oh, wow.
And post Pahalgam, India launched an operation called Operation Sindoor, in which we got inside we didn't literally cross the borders, but we attacked Pakistan and the terrorist organizations working under the garb of madrasa and educational institutions and so many things. So soon after the operation was launched, there was a whole social media campaign, a narrative was built that India lost its fighter jets, India has lost the counter operation, and so things like that.
And it was all false.
Yeah, it was all false. So how we can fight this narrative battle? I mean, it's not just that, like in current world, wars are not just fought on battlefields. They're also fought on social media platforms. So how India and Israel, who are being targeted not just by internal threats, by countries who attack us, but also by global forces, like you have mentioned in your presentation, like Al Jazeera, BBC, they work against us. So how to counter them? How do you do it in facts?
Well, let's first talk about these two societies. They share so many shared values. they're completely different in scale. India, most populated country in the world, over 1.4 billion people. Israel is a small country, less than 10 million people. But they share so much in common. First, there is the common enemy. Just like we were attacked by extremists, terrorists who wish to wipe us off the map. That was their plan, and they were sponsored, and they were ready for it. India is also, a very vibrant democracy that is constantly being challenged by extreme forces that want to take advantage of all the values and the democratic values that it possesses and use it against her. Israel is also a very open society, very pluralistic, very vibrant, but that sometimes is being used against it. So we first need to learn how, as a democracy, as two vibrant democracies, how to protect ourselves too. Because that's our strength, but it's also our vulnerability. So we need to make sure that we put in place the right safeguards to protect ourselves, and still maintain our democratic values that are so near and dear to us. What we can do together, beyond the common enemy and the common values that we have a lot of shared interests. We welcome the Indian delegation and we wish to see a lot more. We believe India is a true fundamental friend of Israel. The Prime Minister Modi just visited here in the middle of a war when no other world leader wanted to come and be here. He came here for the second time since 2017. He was here February 26th, spoke at the Israeli parliament, spoke at the Knesset, and he stated, that the resilience of Israel is important to India because terror attacking here is terror attacking everywhere. There is no difference if terror is attacking Israel. It's like they're attacking India. It's attacking, the free liberties of societies. And what we can do together beyond our shared interests, we have a great plan for a continental passage from India through the UAE, through Saudi Arabia, Jordan, all the way to Israeli ports to export goods, to Europe, and also solve the problem of the Strait of Hormuz by transferring pipelines from the UAE east to India and then west to through Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel into Europe, and stop the dependence of the world on the Strait of Hormuz, controlled by terrorist regime in Iran, and basically hold the whole world as in a chokehold by controlling the transit of liquid natural gas and oil. So
Narratives, talk about narratives.
exactly, and about the narratives, Facts created a platform that can mass distribute true facts about what is going on, to thousands of different groups where there is relevant discourse about the war in Iran, the war in Gaza, and maybe the conflict in Pakistan, but it uses real people because using bots, supports using fake news and false information. So we developed a system that uses real digital ambassadors. However, we're a small nation with less than 10 million people. India, however, can help us by bringing a lot more of these digital ambassadors to our platform and help distribute the truth to a much larger scale, and to many different groups in their own very challenging area in Southeast Asia, and even beyond that. So I think on the digital front, that's where we can create strong partnership.
Okay. Apart from your work, as an Israeli citizen and as an Indian, what we are fighting is a very, it's an ideological battle. An ideology is of hate is against us, and they want to kill. We are kafir for them. They want to eradicate the whole world of kafirs. Non-believers who don't believe in Islam. They
Right.
don't have right to exist.
Right.
So what and they radicalize people and they penetrate in very different way. So how big radicalization is a threat in Israel, and how you counter here?
Well, I think this is actually a global issue. You see the world getting more and more polarized. You see it in Western countries. You see it in the U.S. You see how polarized, democratic societies are getting. And in Israel, it's the same. Unfortunately, you have so much radicalization, both on the right and the left, that you almost have to leave these groups alone because they're so set in their ways. We are focusing in our mission on the 80% in between. We leave the radical, free Palestine, because nothing is going to change, their mind. And also we leave the other ones, that want to just create chaos. We leave them alone too. We speak to the 80% in between that want to get true information. We believe that this is still by far, the general feeling out there. So that's what we focus on, because the radicalization we can't really do a lot about. What we can do is to make sure that truth is spread to the vast majority in between, and if we focus there, we'll
But you
achieve
cannot
good.
ignore it. They will come after your children. They will come after your daughters. I mean, they will target them. They
Right.
will convert them. They will make
Right.
Muslim babies out of them. So this is a very
Right.
different. I mean, I have heard that Jews
Right.
they are after Jew girls also.
Right.
Is it true?
Well, Israel, like India in certain parts, is where there is clash of civilizations. That's what I believe. In America, it happened. I was there on September 11th, 2001. I worked in finance. Some of my best friends were in the World Trade Center when it got attacked. I remember the sentiment where Americans were shocked. New Yorkers were like in disbelief. How could that happen to them? And I try to explain to people then it's a war of civilizations. You have very extreme society based on different values trying to attack the liberties of the West, democracies like in India, like it. 25 years later, it hasn't really changed. It's only gotten worse, but we cannot let it dictate our way of life. I believe democratic values should, dominate. We should cherish them. We should not let them interfere with that feeling that we all cherish, but we should build them stronger so that, again, they help defend against their own vulnerability because they are constantly taking advantage of that openness. You see it in the US now. They're trying to really have much stricter immigration laws. They believe that's how they should protect their democracy, by limiting immigrants. Israel is also an immigrant society. We have people from all over the world coming to live here. We need to make sure we have strong security forces, strong border control, to make sure that only people that don't wish us harm enter, and make sure that the army is standing guard that it will never happen again.
Okay. My last question.
Sure.
You must have served in the armed forces. It's a compulsory military service for all.
True.
You have your children serving. How it is? How you? I mean, tell us about it. It's very fascinating. We in India also want a compulsory service in military. So tell us about.
So
as an insider.
that's a great question. Thank you. Right after I finished my military service, I decided to go and study in college in the U.S. So I got married and we moved to the US. And all my three girls were born in South Florida, in Boca Raton. They grew up, but, their Israeliness was in them. We spoke Hebrew at home, and they got to know a lot of friends that were former Israeli. And my oldest daughter, she was the pioneer when she turned 18, and it was her turn to go to college. We did college tours all over the US, and I was sure that's what was her path, and she got accepted by the best universities on a full ride scholarship and all that. I'm like, okay, she has a great future. And a week before she had to go and start school, she told me, Dad, I'm first going to go to Israel. I'm going to become a combat soldier. I'm going to do my duty, and in 3 years when I'm done, I'm going to pursue my school. We were surprised, but extremely proud. We supported her. We weren't ready for it, so she went on her own. We stayed in America. But then her younger sister, 2 years younger, said, Dad, I'm going to forego all the college tours. I don't need college tours. I'm going to the Israeli Defense Forces, and I'm going to be even more of a combat soldier than my older sister. And I did simple math. Okay, 2 out of 3. That means we need to go to Israel and support them because they both became combat soldiers. So that brought us back to Tel Aviv after 25 years. I was very proud of them. I have a third daughter. She is 17. She's going to be a senior in high school next year, but she's already going through her sorting into the IDF. She did her first order and she has her second one in a few weeks. And she wants, of course, to be a combat soldier, just like her 2 older sisters. We're very proud of them. We're here to support them. There is something about compulsory service more than people know. It's not just protecting your country, defending your country. In Israel, because it's such a complex society from so many different cultures, from America and from Europe, from Eastern Europe, from Africa, Ethiopia, Yemen, Iraq, all kinds of Jews immigrated from all over the world. It's like a melting pot. And the military service is the first thing that brings all these cultures together and makes them work towards a common goal and create that society a lot more cohesive, because all of a sudden they're like, okay, this is what brought us here, to protect our country, but we also learn how to know each other better and understand each other and speak the same language and fight for the same cause. And it creates the country a lot stronger. So beyond just protecting your country, compulsory service brings it makes the society healthier, I believe, and that's very important.
You said you returned to Israel after 25 years, and you being a father of 3 daughters,
Right.
And having enemy like Hezbollah and Hamas out there. How do you still trust and return back to Israel? I mean, Israel is the only country where people return during war.
Right.
In other countries, people
Yeah, that's a fun fact. The war started. We were hit by missiles and rockets from all over the place, and more people came back to the country to help protect it than fleeing out because they thought they're going to hit by a missile or rocket. So that was something that was hard to comprehend. But that's because they understand deep inside we have only one country. That we feel that we can call it home. And if we don't come and help it in its darkest moment, if we don't come and protect it and do everything we can to defend it, and they fought 7 different fronts. They fought Iran, and they fought Hezbollah in the north, and they fought Hamas in Gaza, and they fought the Houthis in Yemen, and it opened from all sides. It was so coordinated, but they knew they had to be here. Help defend it. They came from India, they came from Thailand, they came from South America, they came from the US, from Canada, from Europe, all, flew here in masses just to help protect it. This morning, I sent my oldest daughter, the one that was the first one to come back. She is starting today 80 days in reserves service, so she's already done with her compulsory service, but now she's doing reserves every year, and today she started 80 days in the reserves in a search and rescue unit. So I'm proud of them. I'm worried, like any dad would be in this situation, but I know that they're doing it for the good of the country, and I'm very proud of them for that.
Outside the borders of Israel, I mean, even my parents were concerned when I was coming here, and it seems so peaceful. We have been living in the town for 2 days, and nothing. I have never seen such a peaceful city in my life. I mean, I'm coming from India. You see, we have so many busy cities, busy lanes, and so peaceful here. I don't think that missiles and rockets are coming from anywhere.
I tell you something. I lived in South Florida for 25 yeyears. Every year we used to get hurricanes in South Florida. Huge storms, destroying homes. My parents used to call me from Israel. Are you okay? You are in such a danger zone. They're going to wipe out your town, and you always see things much worse from the outside than when you live them from the inside. Only when you hear, you see the people, you speak to the people, you see how strong they are, how resilient they are, how creative they are, how great the food is, the architecture, how welcoming they are, how they love making friends.
Yeah.
And you get to know them and you're like, wow, this is so much different than the media reports.
Yeah,
that's why we need to, again, show the truth, show the facts, expose it to the world so that they know Israel like it really is.
Okay, so this was it. Thanks for watching this video.